Morning friends, happy Monday, how the heck are you doing? Bit of a late start on Salty Island today. For anyone that's an England football fan, I think I've had 2 hours sleep, but go England. Waking up to this breaking news this morning, not sure what to think of it, not sure whether my brain can process it. I guess in a way it's good. And why is it good, Martin? Get to the point, because this will absolutely infuriate certain non-working members of that scrounging royal family, because Harry has decided to be the bigger person and keep himself safe because these palaces have phenomenal taxpayer-funded security. And I, for one, am very glad that Harry's taken advantage of this security, because we all know the various threats from extremists and absolute nutters that him and his family have received over the last 3 years since he wrote his book Spare. Let's see what develops. The media, journalists are talking about a reconciliation with the family. I don't think it's going to happen, because Harry has a long memory and Harry really has a high EQ. He understands who's on his side and who's not. I don't think reconciliation's on the card. I think this is a smart move from Harry to keep himself safe. Well, he was 50 minutes ago, and now we've got a second statement from the palace from yet another spokesman, probably a different spokesman, saying he's not going to stay. Welcome back to Salty Island, probably known internationally now as the land of confusion. And this just shows you how unstructured and hierarchical the British non-working royal family really is. None of the people that work there seem to know what the heck's going on. They can't distinguish between the truth, a fact, and an absolute fallacy or a lie. It's just utter BS. And what does this make the UK look like on the international stage? They won't give Harry security, they'll give Prince Andrew security. All over the globe, people are talking about the lack of parity in this family and why some people are on the inside and some people are definitely on the outside. And it just comes down to the fact, we all know, he married Meghan, she's a biracial woman. The British royal family didn't like it. They'll do anything to make Harry and Meghan look silly. Unfortunately, they forge careers. They turn up, do good, forging careers, building businesses, building a family, showing everybody in the world, not just the royal family, how life should be lived. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing for the UK on a wholesale level.
So, looks like it's back to our regularly scheduled program of pushing positive propaganda of the royal family while ostracizing and villainizing Prince Harry. Now, the headline says that they're going to explain to us how the royals will keep themselves very busy as Harry lands in the UK to outshine them all. Sorry, just how he lands in the UK. I added that last bit. And as it's Rebecca English reporting, you'll be happy to know that they informed her to somehow figure out a way to report that they will have a combined 29 official duties scheduled while Prince Harry is here. And it's so interesting how it's always when Harry shows up there that they are suddenly the hardest working they have ever worked in their entire lives. It is never mentioned any other time except when Harry is actually in the country, how hard these people work, how they're constantly doing things. Then, of course, as always, Becky goes on to blame the Sussexes for the drama and not her and her colleagues who have perpetuated this psychodrama that they now project onto Harry and Meghan. There was no will they, won't they. As Becky points out, there was a they will until it was revealed that Harry not only will not get security that he was told would be assessed in December, which would show the 6 credible threats that a private security firm acknowledged are, a risk to him. And by the time March rolled around, they had decided to just not do it at all and not tell him. And then literally last week, he got to find out with the rest of the world that not only did the assessment they promised him they would do never happened, they're not going to do anything at all. But Harry, I guess, should have been a mind reader. He should have known that when it came to, push come to shove, his family would do whatever it took to not protect him and use him and the situation as a shield so that nobody would be focusing on them. They also had Becky point out that Harry being in the UK might overshadow the valuable work that Kate and William and Charles and Camilla are doing. Well, then don't schedule it when Harry's in the country and you know that you're not going to get any attention. That's really simple, because you all knew for 2 whole years this is when he would be here. You all knew, so don't pretend that it was all sudden and these weren't purposefully scheduled while he was in the country so that they would look good. Becky leaves out a number of things that would put the situation into context, obviously, as I just explained, and purposefully pretends that literally nothing has changed. And why was Harry expecting anything? Because she has literally removed the context of why Harry would expect something to change. And then she poses the question why he would organize a high-profile, high-costly trip to the UK when he knew there was no guarantee it would change, even though he was guaranteed something would change, his assessment. And because he assumed in good faith that the assessment would happen, he wanted to bring his wife and children. And so they confirmed, yes, we are all for coming, because again, he thought the assessment would happen and they would see the actual dangers if they did that assessment. So when he flip-flopped, it was always going to be them coming, and now he's changed his mind because he is a target and the people around him will be a target, Becky, and you know that. She then goes on to guess, like the tabloids always do, what other things he would be doing besides the Birmingham 1 year out event. And then tries to blame the man whose life is literally in danger for the king not to be able to meet his grandchildren, which he has been able to do for the past 5 years, and was able to, obviously, if the king had asked RAVEC to please do the assessment and allow the security to happen, it would have happened. But they're going to pretend that King Charles, he's so powerless, he can't do anything at all. And then again blames Harry for all of this when William and Charles's hands are literally behind Harry's back doing shit. But apparently it's all Harry. It's a soap opera that neither Harry nor Meghan have said anything, yet we are getting daily tabloid propaganda from Becky, who would drop to her knees in front of Prince William and do anything he said if he asked.
Happy Monday, squaddies. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you are all having a wonderful week. Let's dive right into today's topic and make this Monday count. So the BBC is out here moving like a group chat that accidentally leaked the wrong screenshot. Literally 1 hour ago, they drop a massive, flashing, breaking news alert screaming, "Yo, Prince Harry is staying at Buckingham Palace. His team officially accepted the invite." Then 60 minutes later, poof, clean vanished, deleted off the timeline like an embarrassing late-night text. Now, all of a sudden, the whole story flips. They put out a brand new article talking about, actually, Buckingham Palace says he's not staying there because he missed a deadline. Bro, are you serious right now? This is supposed to be the pinnacle of international journalism, and they're out here getting played by whoever is running the palace press office. It's clear as day they aren't checking facts anymore. They're just sitting by the printer waiting for the palace to scribble some petty notes on a napkin so they can rush to get those clicks. For regular people looking at this, it just shows you can't take these major outlets seriously. It's pure comedy. They are so desperate to control the narrative and make Harry look like he's left out in the cold, but all they did was expose how messy their own operation is. Harry is just trying to touch down, do his thing and support his causes, and the media's having a whole meltdown before his plane even lands. It's embarrassing for them, but honestly, it's a massive win for Harry because they're showing their whole hand. They are absolutely terrified of him outshining the whole setup, and the chaotic backpedaling proves it. So let's talk about the petty mind games these tabloids are trying to play right now. They are desperately trying to paint this picture that Harry is out here stranded at Heathrow Airport with his luggage, looking lost, needy, and begging for a spare room. They want everyone to think that if he doesn't have the keys to that dusty palace, he's got nowhere to go. But let's look at the actual reality. Harry doesn't need their real estate. The word on the street is he might be heading straight over to Althorpe House, his mum's ancestral home. Think about how deep that is. The media is trying to make him look isolated, but instead of staying in some cold, fake transactional setup where people are leaks and spies, he's choosing actual peace. He's choosing real family ties, real legacy, and a place that actually means something to him and Princess Diana. For regular people watching this play out, it's so easy to see through the hate. It's pure comedy watching the palace try to act like they're withholding a golden ticket, while Harry has just completely bypassed their drama. He bypassed the whole toxic machine to go sleep somewhere he's actually wanted. They thought they were locking him out, but honestly, he just upgraded. He's doing things on his own terms, and that's exactly why they're mad. The Daily Mail out here completely saying the quiet part out loud, and it is pure comedy. They just dropped this wildly frantic headline, how the royals will keep themselves very busy as Prince Harry lands in the UK. Hold up, read that again. They literally published a step-by-step itinerary of official duties just to prove the senior royals have things to do this week. If you were truly unbothered by your brother coming to town, you wouldn't need a front-page defense of your Google Calendar. This is peak panic. They are absolutely terrified that Harry dropping in for the Invictus Games countdown is going to completely hijack the news cycle. So what do? They start manufacturing random events and pulling senior royals out of thin air just to stay in the frame. They're trying so hard to make it look like, oh look, we're way too occupied to notice him. But the fact that you made a whole article about how busy you are proves you are sweating. For regular people looking at this, it's like that one ex who posts 20 Instagram stories of themselves partying the second they know you're back in the city. It's transparent, it's thirsty, and it's a massive cell phone. They know Harry has that natural star power that completely outshines the machine, and this entire very busy narrative is just a sad attempt to block his shine. Too bad for them, it's not working.
Charles is very pathetic. Let's talk about RAVEC and the complete joke of this security situation, because the way they blindsided Harry is downright shady. They didn't even bother to check the actual security assessments. It's just been a non-stop circus of twists, turns, and moving goalposts, completely cooked up by the palace back room to keep him exposed. And don't even get me started on the royalists in the comments screaming, oh, there's nothing Charles can do, his hands are tied. Stop lying. That is a total load of garbage. Harry is a literal prince, the son of the king, and a lifetime high-profile target. He deserves full armed protection, period. Charles completely betrayed his own blood by letting this happen. It's wild how the institution will protect people with actual scandals, but when it comes to the king's own son trying to safely bring his kids to see the UK, suddenly the system pretends it's completely powerless. Regular people see right through the excuses. Family is supposed to have your back, but the palace chose bad politics over their own flesh and blood. Let's be completely real about what's actually happening here. The UK media is spending millions of words, burning through ink and running around like headless chickens just to prop up a fractioned ecosystem at Buckingham Palace. They are using Harry as a human shield. Every single time Harry sets foot in the country to do something actually meaningful, like checking in on the Invictus Games countdown, the whole media ecosystem shifts into hyperdrive to orchestrate a massive circus. Why? Because it's a classic deflection tactic. They want regular people looking at petty room service drama and accommodation gossip instead of asking real questions about institutional transparency and what these people actually do for the public. Spoiler alert, it's mostly just PR stunts and hidden agendas. The haters out here crying in the comments are eating up the bait, completely blind to the fact that they're being manipulated by a desperate machine. They want you focused on did he miss a deadline for a room, so you don't notice how much of a boss Harry is for handling his business independently. He doesn't need their permission or their properties to shine. They use his name for clicks because without him, their front pages are dry. It's high time people look past the smoke and mirrors and see this media obsession for exactly what it is, a giant distraction from a system that has nothing else to offer. At the end of the day, we have to look at the fundamental reason behind this entire media meltdown. Harry still outshines the machine. For all their desperate attempts to brand him an outsider, to freeze him out, and to claim he's irrelevant, the media's own chaotic, frantic, non-stop coverage reveals the absolute truth. Think about it.
If he were actually irrelevant, they wouldn't be tracking his travel schedule like a top-secret tactical military operation. They wouldn't be updating headlines every 60 minutes. They track his every breath because his star power is completely undeniable. Harry connects with people on a real street level, and the establishment is absolutely terrified that he is about to touch down and take the UK by storm. They can't ignore him because he is the main event, with or without their permission. Speaking of doing things independently, my biggest prayers go out to Meghan and the kids. I am so glad they are staying safe, peaceful, and protected out in California away from this toxic circus. Harry is handling his business like a boss, and his family's safety comes first, period. Thank you all so much for watching, locking in with me, and supporting the channel. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. You already know I want to see what you think about this wild palace scramble. I am your host, Miles, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.